Steve Burns just cheated on me with Donald Trump. That is a weird intro, but we're rocking with it. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor, and today we're going to speak about Lordstown Motors and Workhorse and everything that happened yesterday with Trump. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen it. We all saw the beautiful picture of Lordstown parked up in front of the White House. It was a beautiful sight to behold as an investor. I think it has filled a lot of people with confidence, and the stock charts reflect that fact. I want to speak about what this kind of means to me as an investor, what I think it could represent, and how important things like this could be for Lordstown Motors and Workhorse respectively. This is something I brought up literally months ago on the channel. It was always in Trump's interest to, have a relationship with both of these companies, and a lot of people thought I was crazy for, saying that Trump would put time into creating this relationship with Lordstown Motors, but here we are, baby. So a few things I want to cover in today's video. I want to speak about the average volume and what the stock prices have been doing over the last week or so, because it's been insane. It's been the craziest week we've seen probably ever, even in the EV market. So we're going to compare the volume of the good days to the bad days. We're going to compare the volume to the overall float, and we'll speak about, does this really matter in the long term? Does it really affect Lordstown Motors or Workhorse, or is this just short-term investors, swing traders, etc., day traders, trying to make some quick money? Well, anyway, guys, right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, my friends? It really helps me in the channel out. I would appreciate you so much.
Hit the like button or I will eat your toes while you sleep.
Brian has spoken. If you're new around here, what are you waiting for, my friend? Please hit that juicy red subscribe button and join the family. We're about 7,500 subs away from 50,000, and we want to get there ASAP, baby. And please do drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the situation, especially if you are an investor. This is what we needed to see after the horrible week we had last week. But anyway, guys, into the video. So before we get into the charts, the figures, etc., let's just start it off on Lordstown Motors Twitter, okay? So this is the first tweet we see. Recently, the Endurance has been introduced to customers and stakeholders across the USA, including government officials from both sides of the aisle. Today, we are in DC to discuss opportunities for new jobs and new ways to ensure a clean and prosperous future for all Americans. And I mean, guys, is that not just a beautiful sight to behold as a shareholder? I mean, ooh, I love to see it. And then we scroll up a little bit. The White House tweeted out, okay? The US government account, the verified tick White House, 24.7 million followers. This morning, President Donald Trump congratulated Lordstown Motors of Lordstown, Ohio on their manufacturing of the 2021 Endurance, the world's first all-electric commercial pickup truck. And again, we have some pictures we can look through here. So here's the two fellas, good old Steve Burns we had on the channel probably a week or so ago, and Donald Trump. That is so weird. Here they are looking at the car. Steve is saying, this is the car, this is incredible, this is the best thing in the world. And Donald Trump saying, yes, very good. Then we have Steve and Donald. Donald's clearly saying, wow, this is incredible. This is where we will put all of the money you guys make. And then just a nice little picture, you know what I mean? So absolutely awesome to see this happen, to see the actual government White House page share this. That's awesome. Now, a lot of people are asking, why is Donald Trump doing this? Traditionally, he's not really all about electric energy, we'll put it that way. A lot of you guys will know he's really big into oil, etc. Now, I'm not from the US, and I'm not political whatsoever. But I mean, if I wanted to be president, okay, I would assume that the most important thing in the world is becoming president. If you know that doing something like this is going to get you in Ohio's good books, even if you do lean more towards the side of, having a preference towards oil, gas, etc., you're going to do it. I mean, it makes sense. It's a business move. And with that in mind, we see Mike DeWine. A lot of you guys should know who he is, okay? Husband, okay, father of 8, grandfather of 24, and most importantly, the governor of the state of Ohio. And we all know Ohio is a swing state, the Republicans need it, blah, blah, blah. You've heard that a million times by now. So Mike DeWine then goes ahead and retweets, glad to see at POTUS @Real Donald Trump recognize Lordstown Motors and their new 2021 Endurance all-electric truck outside the White House today. We are proud to have this innovative company in Mahoning Valley. Awesome. I mean, this is genuinely so much recognition for Lordstown Motors. It's crazy. And it couldn't have come at a better time considering everything that happened last week. I don't want to say I told you so, but I mean, there's videos from a couple of months ago where I foresaw things like this happening. And there was a lot of people who agreed, but there was a lot of people who thought it was a ridiculous concept. I mean, it makes sense for both parties involved. We can see Workhorse also getting in on the action. They shared the White House's tweet where we get to see all of the nice juicy pictures. So that's the basics of what happened. Now, let's see what happened, price-wise. Let's see what volumes were being traded, etc. So it goes without saying that it was an absolutely beautiful day, okay? Up 12.81%. We were up even a little bit higher, but I mean, to close the day up that much, Absolutely beautiful, zero complaints by anybody. We are now not that far off our all-time highs. Yes, we're 14% away, but only 2 days earlier, we were 30% away. So it was a very, very nice rally to say the absolute least, and I do think this momentum is going to stay with us for a very considerable period of time. So, we can see our volume for yesterday was 5.6 million, which is very close to double our normal volume, which is not surprising by any means whatsoever. But what I would like to say is that our average volume is low because it was low a very long time ago. So that 5.5 million wasn't even all that much. I mean, if we go back to September 23rd and 24th, we were approaching 8 million shares of volume. And that was during the sell-off, you know, that was when we were at our absolute worst. And I was getting loads of comments from people telling me that, you know, it's a lot of short traders that are keeping the price up here, but I mean, our 2 biggest volume days ever were when we got to our absolute lowest. I don't think it's the short traders who are pushing these guys up. I do genuinely think it's the longs. Now, of course, the swing traders, the short-term traders, they're always going to have an impact, and they are what will predominantly lead to the sell-offs. A lot of them sold off, people. I mean, from the 21st all the way through to the 24th, there was a massive sell-off. As I said, 30% or so. I mean, look at the volume, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So I think this is good, and I don't think we need to sell off. Now, of course, whenever we see a 10+% day, it's almost a given there will be a minor pullback. We're going to have to wait and see what happens today, but genuinely I wouldn't be surprised if we get another really nice green day. If not today, maybe tomorrow. You know, some people might want to run away with their profits. That's always the case. And then the other thing I want to point out really quickly, okay, is actually our float. So our float is at, let's say, 25 million shares. So I mean, even at the 5.5 million we traded yesterday, that's just over 20% of the float, which, yes, it is a considerable amount. When it comes to EV stocks and hype stocks, it's actually not the biggest percentage in the whole world. Let me show you. So I mean, of course, we have a look at Workhorse Stock, because yesterday as well, pretty much off the back of this news, we're up over 13%, which is absolutely nuts, to be honest. I do love Workhorse, everybody knows that. They're my baby, they're my biggest position by far, okay, but I do think it's a little bit weird we went up more than Lordstown Motors. But if we look at Workhorse, their volume, 40.5 million. Their average volume, 30 million. Workhorse volume was actually quite high, you know what I mean? The last 2 days in particular has been the highest we've seen it. And again, guys, look what happens with the high volume. The stock's price goes up. So this does lead me to believe that, you know, there are quite a few longs getting involved in the company still. But anyway, right, yesterday's volume, 40 million. Workhorse's float, essentially 96 million. So you see how much more of the float is being, you know, traded on a daily basis with Workhorse than Lordstown Motors right now. I've said this a few times on the channel at this stage, okay, I do think that Workhorse's stock is extremely manipulated right now. I mean, it's quite clear to see when you see that average volume compared to the float, but we don't really see that with Lordstown Motors. As I said, when you do the percentages, it's not crazy. Even the back of a day like yesterday, where literally, you know, Donald Trump of all people is endorsing you, it wasn't crazy at all. Now, the next thing I would like to point out is that yesterday was a very good day in the market, okay? Green across the board. The Dow up 1.5%, the Nasdaq up nearly 2%, and the S&P up 1.6%. And the EV market was also really good. I mean, hyliion was a little bit underwhelming. I spoke about this yesterday. All things considered, they underperformed both Workhorse and Lordstown Motors. But I mean, we can also see ChargePoint went up 12.7% now, so be it, they are big in the red pre-market. Tesla was up 3.4%. I mean, NIO was up 2.67%. So it was a very, very good day in the market in general, and that is something I always like to take into account when I look at these massive up days. But yeah, as I already kind of have said, a little bit of a pullback would not surprise me in any way, shape or form. So I mean, of course, everybody's speaking about this. Weirdly enough, there's more people speaking about Workhorse than Lordstown Motors themselves, which really makes absolutely zero sense in my opinion. But anyway, okay, they go on to say Workhorse shares were up about 12.5% from Friday's closing price. Yeah, after the big dip that we saw last week, this was very welcomed. And they don't really go on to say much more, okay? They do say Workhorse owns 10% of Lordstown Motors. Again, I think that the move for Workhorse was a little bit weird. It was a little bit exaggerated in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna complain. But yeah, I mean, Trump was hyping these guys up, and that is obviously going to have an effect on it. I don't think it was quite a Trump pump, but yeah, he hyped them up. He said himself, this is a really unique thing because the four wheels are hub motors. This is the only one that does that in the world. It has a lot of advantages. I'm not sure how much Trump really has looked into the vehicle or the company, but yeah, he's not wrong. But I mean, oh man, it was so exciting. We were watching this, you know, everybody in my Discord was speaking about it at the same time. I don't think I've ever seen as many people buzzing. It was a bit surreal, like when you weren't expecting it to happen, you know, it's not like you knew this was about to come. When you just see it, it was like, yes baby, let's go. I think what's important to remember now, anytime we see price action like this, you know, anytime we see these massive spikes, we have to ask ourselves, you know, why is this happening? And no fundamentals changed, I'll put it that way. Now, the thing is, no fundamentals changed during this massive sell-off for either of the companies either. To me right now, this genuinely looks like somewhat normal price action, and I do believe that we should continue to move upwards. That doesn't necessarily mean today or every day, but in general, over the span of a week or two, I definitely think we should be seeing all-time highs for both of these companies. Now, of course, anything can happen, especially with Trump speaking again later on, everything that's going on in regards to the presidential elections. Also, it's just a crazy time for EV in general, and the stock market in general. In the short term, absolutely anything can happen. We always say that on this channel, but if you believe in the companies in the long term, happy days. I mean, these are my two biggest positions in the stock market, you know what I mean, because I've done the most research into them and I like them the most, and I have bought them all very low and also expensive. I mean, Lordstown Motors, for example, I initially bought at $11.80. I also bought at $24 a share. I think that shows the kind of confidence that I have in this company. You know, I would rather pay that much more and put my cost basis up that much more so that I have more shares in the long term. And the same can be said for Workhorse. Again, I bought these guys probably in the 14s the first time, I think it was. And then I bought them again at 24 last week after this dip, you know what I mean? Just remember, fundamentals haven't changed. We're in just as good a position, if not a better position than we were a couple of weeks ago. There is constant good news coming out for both of these companies, and I mean constant. More news than the large majority of companies. Workhorse improving their range, our Hitachi agreements, etc. Lordstown Motors taking in pre-orders like there is no tomorrow. I still love both of these companies just as much as I always have, and I am still super bullish on both of these companies. But of course, guys, I am not a financial advisor, and I got the hoodie to prove it. You guys already know this. These are speculative plays, okay? They're high-risk plays. Lordstown Motors is a SPAC, and Workhorse is a short-term bet. Long-term, I don't think it's a gamble for either of these companies in all honesty, but in the short-term, anything can happen, so just do be aware of that. And don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and you're going to be okay. But anyway, guys, that is what I had to say about these two juicy, beautiful companies today. So, my friend, if you have watched until the end of the video, I really, really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for sticking around. You're helping me out so much. If you enjoyed the video, could I please ask you to hit that like button, drop me a comment, and subscribe if you're new around here, because all of that helps me out so much, and we really are trying to get to 50,000 subs. In my opinion, both of these companies are in just as good, if not better positions than they ever have been. Literally ever have been. We're not even at all-time highs, so yes, I am very happy with the prices we're at. I'm holding everything, baby. I have zero intentions of selling a single share of either of these companies for a very long time, baby. And also, guys, I know I always speak about the Discord, about the Patreon. If you want to join, just so you know, you get charged the first of every month. It does tell you before you sign up. But yeah, I know the month is obviously very close to being over, so if you're not signed up yet, it may just be worth waiting until, you know, the first of next month. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Now, it does tell you when you're signing up, you get charged the first every month, but I want to make it really clear. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope the market treats us all well again today, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.